So someone in chat says, yes, the reset was a long time planned. It doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me.
It's also, can I just read while you're pulling up the next one, just really briefly? This is from that foreword to Brave New World that I talked about. So Huxley wrote this he wrote the foreword in 1946, 15 years after he had written the novel. And it's long. There's a lot in it. I'm just going to talk about this. He says, the most important Manhattan projects of the future will be vast government-sponsored inquiries into what the politicians and the participating scientists will call the problem of happiness. In other words, the problem of making people love their servitude. Without economic security, the love of servitude cannot possibly come into existence. For the sake of brevity, I assume that the all-powerful executive and its managers will succeed in solving the problem of permanent security. But security tends very quickly to be taken for granted. Its achievement is merely a superficial, external revolution. The love of servitude cannot be established except as the result of a deep personal revolution in human minds and bodies. To bring about that revolution, we require, among others, the following discoveries and inventions. First, a greatly improved technique of suggestion through infant conditioning and later with the aid of drugs such as scopolamine. Scopolamine? I don't know.
Well, by the way, suggestion has come through big tech also. We can suggest. Yep.
Yeah, so that's already happened. A greatly improved technique of suggestion. We are being fed propaganda constantly. They are censoring what they don't want us to hear, and they are creating propaganda and pumping it into us, not just in the legacy media, but on social media. They're doing this constantly. And when he says through infant conditioning, in the book Brave New World, there's something they do hypnopedia, where they basically, the kids are sleeping and they pump stuff into their heads. You don't need to do that. We're already indoctrinating kids in school. It's in the elementary schools now, as we know. Social justice ideology is there.
Look at kids' television channels and programs.
And social media. Yep. Kids are all online now. It's already there. We're already suggesting things in the minds, like we're programming kids. That's already happening. And so then he says, second, so that's the first thing they need. Second, a fully developed science of human differences, enabling the government managers to assign any given individual to his or her proper place in the social and economic hierarchy. What does that sound like? He's talking about a fully developed science of human differences. What is this ideology all about? Social justice ideology. It's putting you in your place. What race are you? What sex are you? What sexuality are you? And then they want to make laws. They want to make laws that apply to certain groups and not to others.
Yeah, although I think a better analog for what he's talking about is actually the mapping of the human genome and understanding of genetics and SNPs and all that, because once you can figure out what makes a person happy or content, then you can assign that to them. I think we're probably 10 years away from being even close to thinking about that.
Yes,
maybe a little bit longer, but we're probably 10 years away from actually being able to map some of that stuff pretty well.
Yeah,
at least.
But that's the book he mapped. Can you guys believe he wrote this in the 30s? In Brave New World, they do that. They assign you a job based on what group you're in. They have the alphas, the betas,
But they genetically engineer the groups, right?
They genetically engineer
So the only difference is he we're probably not going to be doing genetic engineering, but we could be looking at genetic markers and being like, oh, these are the things that will make this person is well suited to bleh. Okay.
Yeah, to this. That's their job.
We'll do that.
Right. Okay, so that's the second thing. So here's the third thing, and this is there's only four. Third, since reality, however utopian, is something from which people feel the need of taking pretty frequent holidays, there will need to be a substitute for alcohol and the other narcotics, something at once less harmful and more pleasure-giving than gin or heroin. That's the one I mentioned earlier, right? Which you think social media is the drug.
I think it's social media. It could be widespread porn.
Social media.
Like all that stuff, anything that's like, it doesn't give you a hangover the next morning, but it wastes your time and makes you feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. It sucks you, you check out. You're not in the real world. You just need something to get people to
check out.
Yeah. Just check out. Think about when you go on social media and you lose 2 hours
Right.
Think about when you watch porn and you lose time. Okay, so fourth. Okay, and fourth, but this would be a long-term project, which it would take generations of totalitarian control to bring to a successful conclusion. We would need a foolproof system of eugenics designed to standardize the human product and so to facilitate the task of managers. That's what you just talked about.
Yeah, although I'm not sure that we would actually need that to start. I think we'd need it eventually. But I mean, you can achieve this by testing instead of actually doing genetic engineering. You can achieve it if you're willing to just abort if you're just willing to abort all the kids that don't fit whatever plans you've got for them. I don't think the government, we're not in the place where the government's about to force that, though. I think we're far away from that. But I don't think that part's actually as necessary as he does. But
anyway, interesting.
Yeah.
Just interesting. It makes you think.
Totally.
And that's why I really enjoy a lot of these older dystopian books, because he could see in his lifetime, just 15 years after he wrote it, things moving along this path.
Mm-hmm.
And look how much further we've come.
I was going to say, can you imagine what he would see today?
God.
Right.
We need a Huxley today.
Yeah.